Hey YouTube, this is Eddie's Tech Talk, and this is my full review of the Lenovo Smart Clock with Google Assistant. I believe that's the technical name for it. This isn't to be confused with the cheaper Lenovo Smart Clock Essential. That one I believe has a list price of about $50 and is on sale all the time for about $25, whereas this one I think had a list price of like $75 or $100 or something like that. But the point is, it goes on sale for about $35 to $40 a lot. So I'm going to review it really as like a normal alarm clock, and that's really what I bought it at. I bought it at $34. It's gone on that sale price a lot, so I would keep your eye out for something like that. I wouldn't pay more than $40 for this thing. And that's not to say that it's not good. I actually very much like this. I needed an alarm clock because the alarm clock on my phone kind of wouldn't wake me up sometimes, even at high volumes. So I wanted an alarm clock, but of course, I love the smart everything. I love all that stuff. And $35 for an integrated, smart display, Google Assistant enabled speaker and clock, alarm clock. It checked all the boxes for me. So I have the black one. There's also, I believe, something similar to like the Google Home Mini, the gray Google Home Mini, that material. So basically black and gray. I got the black one. So going around the device real quick, we've got the alarm clock display itself on the front. I think there is also a microphone right here. There's no camera on this device, which is good. That was actually advertised on the box when I got it. So this isn't like an Echo Show or a Facebook portal or something like that. And for those of you further privacy concerned about maybe putting something like this in your bedroom, there is a physical off switch right here.
The mic is muted.
So we can see that Google just told us that the mic is muted.
The mic's back on.
And now the mic's back on. So you do have that physical switch back there if you'd like, as well as a USB port, which is nice. So if you're putting this on your nightstand, you can, plug your phone in to charge. I haven't tested this myself just due to the configuration of my room. My alarm clock's actually across the room, and from me, I can see it, I can look at it, but it's just across the room, so not in a place to plug my phone in at night. And it does have this proprietary power plug cable. I'm not going to show you the other end of this cable, but it's pretty big, so make sure that you have adequate outlet space for it. You should be able to put it in a surge without taking two outlets, I believe. Don't quote me on it. But in any case, that's what we've got there. And then down here, we've got the rubber feet, which really do help make it stay where it is. So, look, there's not a lot to get into here. Really, my two concerns when buying this device is this display going to keep me up at night? And then, does it work? Does it work as an alarm clock? So let's just go through the interface a little bit, and let's ask it a question or two as well. So we've got the time up here in this one. I've got the weather displayed. A lot of these are configurable. And then we've got Google featured photo backgrounds here as well. If you kind of hold down, it can show your Google Photos, which is what I have been doing, and I believe you can edit it as well to show certain Google Photos. Yeah, so you can have it show, this is your watch, or I'm sorry, your clock face. It'll show your recent highlights, and then hey Google, change the photo frame.
Here you go.
Yep, so it can change it for me and those kinds of things. But if we go into the settings, we've got the current face up here. We've got the time obviously displayed. We've got current temperature. All these are toggleable. We have the home screen ticker, so reminders, alarm suggestions, and more from the assistant. And we can set that, but I'm not going to because I like it the way it is. So Google Photos, that's a good one. I like it. Featured photos, another good background. You've got this one right here, which is actually exactly what the display pretty much looks like when it dims. So just kind of a minimal one. And then we've got a more modern face, which is very googly to me. And then we've got a couple more in here. So we've got the analog clock look, sort of like a pronunciation of the time. Those are fairly popular. That one's called Prime. Contemporary analog with digital, it looks like, as well. We have this one as well. Retro look, clouds, and then just a more dedicated weather one, which you can use if you'd like. I suppose it's got the night sky out there in this example. So maybe it'll kind of reflect the weather conditions outside, but you can display the weather on these other alarm faces. So Not a big reason to do that in my mind. And then playground, again, that one looks pretty googly. So that's all the options we have. You can't add any more, but look, to me, that's a lot of options. It's an alarm clock. You're probably going to set this thing, and then you're going to forget it. So it sets alarms very well, and the display dims very well. So take a look at this video right here. The display is like normal when the light's on, when it knows you're doing stuff, and then if you shut the lights off, it dims so low. The camera really had trouble catching it. You can see when the lights are off, you can see the time, but it is very, 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 very dim. I would say that it actually gets dimmer than, let's say, your old classic dumb analog clock with, those flashing red lights for the numbers. So this thing gets extremely dim, and it's nice and pretty to look at. I always like walking into my room during the day or at night, and I can see the Google Photos that it's going through. So it's visible and nice when the lights are on, and it gets really dim when the lights are off. So if you're talking about your alarm itself, because this is first and foremost an alarm clock, you can raise the volume of the Google speaker here itself and of the alarm. I believe you can do it here, but there is a setting for that in your alarm. You can set the alarm specific volume. I set mine, of course, to 10. And then if you tap the top of the device, if it's next to you, that actually acts like a snooze button. So you can tap the top for a snooze button, and you can actually turn that off. So if you're really trying to get up in the morning and you don't want to hit snooze, you can actually disable the tap to snooze functionality from within the settings. So that is really cool as well. So it has a lot of these cool features. It's actually a very useful alarm clock, and it's a decently useful Google Home speaker as well. It can do all the Google Home things that you would expect. So, hey Google, ring my keys.
Locating keys.
So I have an integration to ring my tile keys with my Google Home. And it indeed rang the keys, so that's just some Google functionality. So it's useful. It gets decently loud for an alarm clock. This isn't going to fill a room with audio, and it's not going to fill a room with music, but for something like a small bedroom, it's fine. The speaker's passable. I would definitely say that that's the weak point here. In terms of just audio fidelity and audio quality, it's loud enough to wake you up in the morning. It's clear enough to get things done, but I don't think it is quite as good in terms of audio quality as your standard Google Home, certainly not your Google Home Max. And I would say it's probably not as good as the Google Home Mini either, or I guess the Nest Mini that they're calling it now. So, but it's not bad. It's just not, if you're looking to get this also to replace, let's say, a Bluetooth or smart speaker in your room, it's definitely not going to do the job for speaker duty super well, but it gets the job done. It's better than, your average phone speakers and those kinds of things. So, look, it's a brief review. It's an alarm clock. I don't know what you want me to say. It functions as a Google Smart Speaker. It looks nice. It sits nice in a room. I don't have a lot of privacy concerns with it, especially with that physical mute switch in the back. And so, look, that's what we got here. We've got the Lenovo Smart Clock with Google Assistant. Again, not to be confused with the Smart Clock Essential, which is much more traditional alarm clock looking, cheaper, does less. So what do you guys think of this one? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. But if you've already got like a Google Home ecosystem like I do, it's good for that. It fits right in. Let me know what you think about it, and I'll see you in the next one.